evening, everyone. Welcome to the Springfield Museums. My name is Kay Simpson, and I'm the president of the Springfield Museums, and it is so wonderful that you've joined us for tonight's program using this virtual platform. I would like to officially begin this ceremony with a land acknowledgement, which I will now read. At the Springfield Museums, here in the Connecticut River Valley, we gather on the traditional land of the Eastern Algonquian peoples, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the people who have been its stewards throughout the generations. In the United States, we all stand on native land in a country still shaped by a history of slavery and by racism. We gratefully acknowledge those who have come before us and those who continue to fight injustice today. Tonight, we are very excited to host the annual Ubora and Ahadi Award celebration. It is a great honor to be able to recognize the accomplishments of African Americans in our area who have met the highest standards of excellence in the fields of science, public service, education, humanities, and the arts. We strongly feel that the achievements of award winners reflect well on the Springfield Museums and enhance our standing as a cultural organization. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the African Hall Committee for their hard work in making this award possible. The efforts of this important committee support the mission of the Springfield Museums and our commitment to serve as a vibrant center of education and a community resource. I'd also like to express gratitude to our staff members who have worked in tandem with the committee to make this virtual program possible. And now it is my honor to introduce Dr. Ruth Bass Green. Dr. Green is an active educator, teacher of piano and voice, and a church musician. She has served underprivileged and privileged students of diverse age, race, and gender for over 50 years. In her work as a music educator, she is a spokesperson for the legacy of Negro spiritual and the priceless contributions they bring to the genre of music in the Americas. Dr. Green received a BA in music education from California State University at Los Angeles, a master's degree in early childhood education, and a doctorate in educational studies from the University of Massachusetts. We are so pleased to share the music of Dr. Green, who will now present the Negro National Anthem, Lift Every Voice. And I know you will all join me in welcoming Dr. Green to this evening's virtual celebration.
It is my pleasure to recognize our Ahadi Youth Award winner, Kareem Wedderburn, and our Ubora Award winner, State Representative Bud L. Williams, with proclamations from our great city's elected officials. These proclamations speak to the significance of the Ahadi and Ubora Awards and the exemplary community service of our award winners. In addition to sending proclamation, many elected officials have offered their best wishes by recorded messages, which we will now view.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and congratulations to my former colleague, Councilor Bud L. Williams, on receiving this year's Ubora Award. I've known Councilor Williams, or former Councilor Williams, all my life, and from a young age, I knew that Councilor Williams was destined to commit his entire life to serving his community, which he has done. I fortunately, a few years ago, had an opportunity to serve with Councilor Williams, as opposed to being a young man and listening to both he and my father, Rick Hurst, talk about how they were planning on changing the city of Springfield for the better. And so during my time on the council, I was able to receive firsthand all of the advice that I had heard when I was a young kid, and Councilor Williams and myself were able to be in the trenches together. I'll never forget that time. Oftentimes we don't get the opportunity to serve with those that we look up to serve with those that have served as role models in our lives, and it was an absolute privilege to be able to do so, and to do so doing the things that we both enjoy doing, which was having an impact and serving the citizens of Springfield and just trying to do better and make a difference in their lives. Councilor Williams is a warrior. If you don't know him, and if you haven't been in the trenches with him, then you wouldn't know. But knowing that we stood side by side each other when we were fighting some extremely difficult issues, whether it was the police commission to police brutality, Councilor Williams was always at the forefront of those issues, and he always stood side by side and oftentimes took the heat that I didn't necessarily know was coming as a young man entering politics. So I always appreciated his effort, and he knows, as I know, that when you're in the city council chambers and you have 100 individuals that are flooding the chambers and they all have their own various demands of you, and you just happen to be on a different side of the aisle, that it gets difficult. And Councilor Williams, I'll never forget the time that you spoke up on my behalf and told everybody sitting in those chambers, let the councilor speak. He might have a different opinion as you do. He might not see it the same way that you do, but what he does, what we do need to make sure that he receives is an opportunity to speak. And the way you controlled that chamber that evening, I will never forget. In addition, for those of you that don't know, Councilor Williams is a family man. He's someone who takes his family seriously, and he's someone who puts his family first. And as long as I've known Councilor Williams, I've known the importance that he places upon family. And I can only imagine what Councilor Williams and the Williams family has had to deal with over the last few months after losing their son, Kamari Williams, who was the former coach at the High School of Science and Technology. But what I do know is that Councilor Representative Williams continued through all of that hardship, through all of the difficult times that I can only imagine that were weighing on him. Councilor Williams got out of bed every morning, and each and every morning, Councilor Williams said, I have one obligation, and that is to ensure that my community is getting everything that I can possibly provide for him. So Councilor Williams, it is an absolute pleasure and honor to be able to say a few words. You are an inspiration to me, and I know your son son is looking down on heaven as you receive this award and saying, that's my dad. That's why I aspired to be, and he's continuing to do the great work for the citizens of Springfield that he's been charged to do. So I'm extremely proud of you. I know your family's extremely proud of you. And on behalf of your colleagues your former colleagues on the Springfield City Council, congratulations. We wish you well and continue to bring those resources home from the state level. Have a great evening.
Hey, buddy, congratulations. Certainly a great honor, well-deserved. I've known you many, many years, going back to our days on the city council, and certainly always been proud to call you a friend and colleague, and certainly your leadership in the State House, as well as the community, doesn't go unnoticed. So I just want to say congratulations, well-deserved, and I'll see you soon, my friend.
Good evening, everyone, and it's terrible that we can't be together personally, but soon we'll be able to take off these masks as we move to defeat this COVID-19. I always look forward to being with each and every one of you at the Ubora Awards at our beautiful museum complex. Special congratulations goes out to Kareem Wedderburn. Kareem, congratulations, and you've already accomplished much as a young man already, but like all the Ahadi Award winners, you're going to accomplish even more as you move on to make for a better Springfield. So to you and your family, congratulations, continued success, and good health. To my dear friend, State Representative Bud L. Williams. Buddy, Gloria, I know it's been a very, very difficult year for you and your families. This prestigious award is well-deserved for a lifetime of work you have put in to help people who are in need and to work with me to continue to move our city of Springfield forward. I'm very happy that you won this award. And your great days at Old Trade High School, Putnam Vocational Technical Academy now, and 1,000-point score. And that was before there was a three-point shot. So keep hitting those winning shots, not only for you and your family, but for our city of Springfield. Your friendship and partnership is deeply appreciated, buddy. And again, to you and Gloria and the family, congratulations, good health, and continued success. Mayor Dominic Sarm, God bless you all.
Good evening. So let me thank the Springfield Museums, a cultural institution that is unrivaled for a city of Springfield size anywhere in America, for their acknowledgement of two special people in our community. State Representative Bud L. Williams, who has been a lifelong friend of mine, and Westfield State University student Kareem Wedderburn on the acknowledgement that has been bestowed upon them this evening. As we invest in the future, we know how important that is, that we continue to make sure that the achievements that you have offered, particularly for the youth coming along, is modeled after the success that Kareem has had. In the instance of Bud Williams, it's always a pleasure for me to talk about his kindness, his commitment to our community, and in fact, his unwavering friendship and loyalty to me over what has been a very long career. So I thought that I would highlight a special part of our relationship, and that is a picture of the Springfield Boys Club where I first met Bud Williams. The Boys Club was located at the corner of Chestnut and Ferry Streets in Springfield, diagonally across the street from what we would now call the old YMCA. The Boys Club was in many ways a neighborhood institution, but it was also one of my first opportunities to understand how important the Springfield mosaic was to all of us. Friday nights at the Springfield Boys Club and Saturday mornings were events to behold. Swimming, playing pool, but always on the basketball courts as well. And Bud was one of the best basketball players that I had a chance to see play during my time growing up in Springfield. But there was another lesson from the Springfield Boys Club as to the mosaic that I have just mentioned. And that was we were all generally united by the following. We had all come from economic backgrounds where we didn't have much. But there was also, I think, a universal acknowledgement of integration. There was this natural sense of friendship and kinship that came along with the Boys Club and its membership. The annual cost of a Boys Club membership was about $1 a year, and I think some of us were on a payment plan. Buddy Williams, I wouldn't be anyplace else this evening but to congratulate you from the United States of America. Much deserving, great family person, comes from a great family, and a longtime friend to me personally and professionally. Buddy, congratulations from the United States of America.
And we are joined by Senator Eric Lesser, and now he is going to share his remarks.
Well, thank you so much, Kate. Can everybody hear me okay? Everybody can see me okay? So I just wanted to come live to congratulate both Kareem and Bud. First, let me just say a few words about my friend, my colleague, State Representative Williams. Bud, I know you and your family have gone through a very dark, very hard year, pain that frankly few people could ever imagine. But I just want you to know, and I wanted to say this to you live, how much I appreciate you and your family, and how much I appreciate our partnership on behalf of Springfield and on behalf of Western Mass. It's been a very hard year, but we've done a lot together, and we're going to continue to do a lot together. So I'm just so happy that you've received this award tonight. And I wish so much that we could have all been together and we could be sitting together in that beautiful building at the Springfield Museums, but we'll be back next year. And we're certainly all together in spirit tonight. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and just want you to know how grateful I am for your partnership and your mentorship, frankly, over the last several years and for the years to come. And to Kareem, I just want to send congratulations to you. We are very excited for you. And I'll point out you're studying planning at Westfield State, and you have an interest I saw in transportation. So to kind of connect these two, we're going to be looking at you to help plan our east-west rail line between Springfield and Boston. So when Rep. Williams and I and Congressman Neal are done getting the bills passed and the money in the door, we're going to be looking to you to put the plans together to make it happen. So congratulations to you. We're so excited for you and for your bright future. And just on behalf of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the people of the First Hampden and Hampshire Senate District, I want to congratulate you as well. So Bud, congratulations. Thank you, Kareem. Thank you to you. We're so excited to see all you'll continue to achieve. And I want to thank the Ubora Committee. This is one of my favorite events of the year, every year. And I appreciate the work that goes into reimagining it in a digital and safe way, because that's hard to pull off also. So appreciate everybody so much, and looking forward to the rest of the program.
Well, thank you so much, Senator Lesser, for being with us. And thanks also to all of the elected officials that sent their well wishes this evening. And on a final note, although Senator Elizabeth Warren was not able to be with us this evening, she sent her regrets. She also sent proclamations and extends her warm congratulations to the award winners.
Good evening. I am pleased to have the opportunity to present the 2020 Ahadi Youth Award recipient. This year's recipient, Kareem Wedderburn, according to one of his recommenders while speaking of his high school days, stated that he challenges himself by taking rigorous courses, such as advanced placement English, economics, U.S. history, and computer science, just to name a few. We know Westfield State is proud to have you. While taking these and other rigorous courses while in high school, Mr. Wedderburn also maintained an impressive 3.3 grade point average, doing so while serving as the editor-in-chief of his school's student newspaper, the production manager of the school's theater group, and an active participant in Upward Bound. If the before mentioned was not enough to keep Mr. Wedderburn busy, we also heard that he is an intellect who cares passionately about his community. For example, he sought to understand the importance of public transportation in this community by cataloging bus routes, time, and on-time departures. In doing so, he turned his passion for public service into a job with the PVTA. And it sounds like the senator just said that he was indeed going to be welcome to participate in the city of Springfield moving forward. Our 2020 Ahadi Award recipient is indeed well deserving of this recognition. Please join me in congratulating and welcoming Mr. Kareem Wedderburn. Kareem, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First, I'd like to thank my high school counselor, John Simzik, who nominated me for this award that I did not know existed only up until a couple of weeks ago. And I'm very grateful for him and how he pushed me through high school, motivated me a lot of the time, and helped me out as my student counselor. And I just like to say that I love my community. You know, growing up in Springfield, being born and raised in Springfield, I've come to love this community, and I've learned that to serve it in any way I can. So, for example, all 4 years of high school, I volunteered my time tutoring with a free tutoring service for students. I've also participated in several community cleanups. I've volunteered with the Springfield Pancake Breakfast for 2 years in a row. And, you know, and also the PVTA, I worked with that. And also gardening the community, which I just remembered. And, you know, serving the community in any shape, form I can. I'm extremely grateful for the opportunities I've been given. And I've also want to say that, you know, I've worked hard throughout high school, not only in school, but with my family. I am a part of a large family of 8, and some of them are surrounding me right now. And, you know, my mom works nights, the nighttime, and oftentimes I would have to help out with my family, my large family, driving them where they need to go, making dinner, so on and so forth. And it's been very hard, but I'm very thankful for the Springfield Museums for recognizing me. My family is very proud, and I'm very grateful. That is all for me.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Anthony Hill, and I was born and raised in the city of Springfield and still a resident in this great city. Currently an associate professor at Springfield College, School of Social Work and Behavioral Sciences. I am a member of the Springfield Museum's African Hall Subcommittee, a volunteer group consisting of educators, business people, and community leaders from the African American community. The Ubora Award is presented to an African American adult who's demonstrated a commitment to the greater Springfield area and exhibited excellence in the fields of community service, education, science, humanities, or the arts. The Swahili word Ubora means excellence. Both he, State Representative Bud L. Williams, and his wife, Dr. Gloria Williams, and their daughter Kisa, and their late son Kamari, their whole entire family exudes Black excellence, making a difference, touching lives. They both have personally known my family and my parents and my extended family all my life. They both have been a strong supporter of my wife, Renee, as an educator under her Dr. Williams' leadership at Friedman Elementary, and also in my professional career as a school social worker and as a principal. Tonight, I have the honor to introduce State Representative Bud L. Williams as the 29th 2020 Ubora Award winner. I admire him and I applaud his efforts for his sacrifices, his dedication, and his hard work in the Springfield African American community and the Springfield community as a whole. Bud L. Williams, a lifelong resident, has been on the front line for decades. Scholar athlete. I remember seeing his name on a banner at Putnam Academy, now Putnam High School, Putnam Academy, banner where he scored over 1,000 points. Bud L. Williams is a graduate of STCC, has a bachelor's in education from Westfield State in 1972, a master's in education from UMass in 1984. He has served as a teacher, elementary teacher in Springfield, a probation officer for 32 years in the Massachusetts Trial Court, Springfield City Councilor for 24 years, and state representative for the last 3 years and counting. Over his career, he has been involved in a variety of organizations: the Battalion, Black Men of Greater Springfield, the Brethren, Omega Psi Phi, Dunbar, Springfield Parks and Recreation, Mason Square Senior Citizens Community Group, and he is a man of faith, a man devoted to God Almighty, serving as a faithful member of Mount Zion for decades. In this capacity, working on the usher board and the president of the trustee board. I could go on and on, various community boards, too numerous to name. But what I do want to do is say, on behalf of my family and myself and the community, thank you, State Representative Bud L. Williams, for being a servant leader. Thank you, State Representative Bud L. Williams, for living out the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, that everybody can be great because everybody can serve. Thank you, State Representative Bud L. Williams, for leaving a good legacy of service, of faith, commitment to your family, and commitment to your community. Thank you, State Representative Bud L. Williams, for living out the song popularized by Mahalia Jackson. If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or a song, if I can show somebody that he's traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless this community. God bless this world. We appreciate and applaud your life and your legacy of service. Let us give a virtual round of applause and listen to the words of our 2020 Ubora Award winner, State Representative Bud L. Williams. Thank you very much.
Wow. First, giving honor to God, from whom all blessings flow. And Dr. Hill, an old Baptist minister might say, you just did the preaching, we can do the benediction and go on home. Phenomenal. Thank you, sir, for those kind words. To Kay Simpson, president of this great museum, Springfield Museum. And certainly I have to give kudos out to her. This museum, with the Dr. Seuss, with the planetarium, is a free museum for all residents in the city of Springfield. Free. I've been to museums in Atlanta, Chicago, Boston. They all cost, DC, they cost money. So that's huge. All residents in the city of Springfield go to this fine museum for free. To this, first of all, to the local delegation, I'm just really taken back. My dear friend, Congressman Neal, Chairman of Ways and Means of the United States House of Representatives, Senator Eric Lesser, Angelo Pupolo, my colleague on the council and now in the State House, and City Council President Justin Hurst. Thank you, sir, for those kind words. They don't go unnoticed. You people have really got me off kilter here. I'm just off kilter. I had a whole lot of things I wanted to say, and I told Denise, I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her and Gwen. I'm gonna get y'all. Y'all set me up real good, real good. To the fine committee, and I talk Gwen Miller, and certainly I can still see your father pointing his finger at me and telling me I'm gonna be somebody, and one of those little young men growing up in the Mason Square community, and then to Denise, and with the Barracuda, Ray Jordan, her mother Donna, certainly mean to me and my family, and I cut my teeth under Ray Jordan and Mo Jones and then SWAN. You won't find a finer family than the Jordan family. So certainly, and to you, Dr. Anthony Hill, as you said, know both of your parents, know your wife's parents. It's just so refreshing to see folks grow up in this community. And Calvin Hill, thank you for coming to Springfield and stepping in and doing great work within the city. And certainly, I want to thank to all the award winners who've come before me. What a stellar class. That song, A Change Is Gonna Come. If you look at the history from 1992, when Maestro Harvey first got the first award winner, until now, what a class. Phenomenal people. And any award associated with the continent of Africa, the continent of Africa, the Ubora, which means excellence. We're going back to our roots. So I'm just really, really delighted and happy and fascinated by this. So certainly, all of you have outdone yourself. And to my wife, Dr. Gloria Williams, who has been the wind behind my sails. And, sometimes life, it has its twists and its turns, its ups and its downs, its in and out, and you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. We've had a very tough year in 2020, losing our son. I lost 2 brothers. And certainly, but I still say God is still good, still in the blessing business. So I have to keep my head up high and keep thanking him and keep praising him, because he has given us the strength that we can go forward and go on. And certainly, as I think about my life, and I think about Richie Neal, actually, Congressman Neal stole some of my thunder. I wanted to talk about that old north end of Springfield, the old melting pot, the boys club, and certainly where I grew up. And the north end was an old community, black, white, rich. No, let me take that back. Black, white, poor. There were no rich. Polish, Russians, Greeks, Hispanics. It was a real melting pot. But out of that melting pot, which I call, we were basically in the valley. We weren't on the mountaintop. We were in the valley. And you know, when you talk about in the valley, that's where all you're down in the city, where all the pain and the suffering and all the poverty and the sickness is down in that valley. But out of that valley, growing up, and I stood on the shoulders of my mother and father, one of 10 children. And it was extremely difficult at times. And certainly thinking of Richie Neal, losing a parent, losing his parents when he was young. I think of Commissioner Caulton, Helen Caulton's off the north end, our health commissioner. We were very poor, but you know, that the old saying, you work hard, you get good tutoring, you get good mentorship, things can really happen. So as I think of the Boys Club and I think of Art Jones as our role model, as our really surrogate father, because we lived in the Boys Club. And Art was my first coach in basketball, baseball, gymnastics, wrestling, we did everything. And he was a winner many years ago, but he's still on the forefront, working with the Black men of Greater Springfield and still mentoring the youth as he mentored me way many years ago. But I think of my brothers, and I think of my sisters, and I think of my mother, and I think of my father. My mother's a very strong religious woman, believed in prayer. And all the time I remember her praying and praying and praying and praying. And then we sometimes in Dr. Hill and Hill, sometimes we didn't have any food. Sometimes we didn't have any shoes. Had to put cardboard in our bottom of our shoes to get around in. Shopping at the Salvation Army and the Goodwill, and getting hand-me-downs. And there was no welfare per se in terms of monetary gifts, but they had welfare food and the cheese. And I remember going with my mother and picking up stuff. But through it all, we sustained. Through it all, we sustained. And my wife, similar background, one of 7 kids, grew up very, very poor. And then I lost my father at the age of 18. Lost my mother in 1985, was like it was yesterday. And so I didn't have any parents, but then I had my in-laws, Joe Bass and Ever Greenbacks, became my surrogate mother and father, and folks like Big Will from the Boys Club, from the Dunbar, and then Art Jones from the Boys Club, and certainly Roger Williams. We had a great life, I did. But there's one story I'm gonna say. I remember when that opportunity had some scholarships. I could have traveled when I was out of state, could have went to some major universities. My father died. I had to make a decision whether I was gonna leave my mother alone with 9 siblings. Chose to stay home and went to school locally. Ended up going to Stick, then to Westfield, and finished my career there. But I remember I had an aunt, and let me give a shout out, because it's a virtual thing. I want to give a shout out to all my relatives, because in Ohio, they reached out, and in Georgia, they reached out, and North Carolina, they reached out, and in South Carolina, they reached out, and in Texas, they reached out, and in Florida, they reached out. So thank you, family, the Williams and the Collins. Thank you very much for supporting this. But as I said, I remember coming up, and then so I stayed home. And I used to, shine shoes. I sold newspapers. I picked up bottles. I did anything I had to do to survive. Shining shoes with Leo Hanford and Dan Bright. We shined shoes together. We sold newspapers. Jimmy Mitchell, we fought on corners, trying to say who could try to make some money so they could take some money home to mama. That's what it was about. And I'll never forget, I used to save money at SIS Bank then, SIS. And I had a bank account. I saved money because and then I came home one day and my mother said to me, you know, I don't have any money for the school, for our kids, your brothers and sisters, for school clothes. I said, Ma, let's go to the bank. Let's take the money out. You take that money and you do what you have to do. And that's a story that I think it's what family is all about. I had an Aunt Rena, who was my father's sister. She lived in Connecticut. She was the first African-American woman to manage a department store in New England. She managed G. Fox back when G. Fox was back. This is back in the 50s. She was the manager. And every year, every holiday, every single holiday, she would come, her and her husband would drive from Hartford, Connecticut to our house on the north end, and they would give us toys at Christmas, Easter baskets on Easter, Memorial Day, every single holiday. And then during the course of the year, she would come and she took care of us as if we were her own. And Mom and Dad did the best they could do. We had 10 children. And Denise, you know, coming up back in the day, you know, 10 kids, there's not a, it was just difficult, very difficult. But she taught me the spirit of giving to family, to someone, even though they're your relatives, they're related to you, they're not your mother and father. If she stepped and filled that void. And sometimes in life, as I've been very blessed and very fortunate to have had a splendid career, and I had my career on the backs and shoulders of some great individuals that came before me, were really great individuals that came before me. And I can't, they're too numerous to name them all, but I'm going to identify some of them. And also to those who took the time to write a letter of recommendation for me, especially to those Cobley educators. I know Dr. Williams is part of that, but you have Willette Johnson and Mary O'Holloway and Dr. Bobby Renix and also Mary Moore. And to my big brother, Denise's big brother, C. Jackson. Thank you, C. Thank you folks for taking the time. And when I think of names of C. Jackson and Jay Griffin and then Roger Williams and the Rick Hurst of the world, and then the Barracuda, Ray Jordan, who taught us at an early age, Harambe, which is another situation where folks are trying to be community. And Mary Worthy, I'm very sorry. But we think about the Harambe, and I have to say Harambe because I learned a lot working with Ray Jordan. What it meant to give back to the community and what it meant to foster a community and what it meant to have your blood, sweat, and tears in a community and sacrifice for that community. I saw what he did for the community. And that really, like, not that I had it kind of made. I was a college kid. I was teaching Dr. Hill. I just got married. I had a pretty good salary going. And I was, working 2 or 3 jobs. But then I really wasn't giving back like I should give back. And that's when I started this public situation. Became a school teacher, taught 4th grade in Springfield public school system. Then had the opportunity to become a probation officer, worked in Springfield District Court and helped thousands and thousands of families and thousands of kids, trying to put them in the right direction. And then I was very fortunate to become the third Black representative in this district, with Ray Jordan being the first and Representative Ben Swan being the second, and then me being the third one and going forward. It's an amazing night. You folks have really outdone yourself. I'm proud as a peacock, and very, very flattered and very, very honored. There are numerous individuals that could have received this, numerous people who work hard, tirelessly every day, day in and day out. Just so fortunate that you folks decided to lend this old boy from down in the valley, this old boy in the valley, trying to elevate him one night to the mountaintop. And I really feel elevated. I feel good for my family, my daughter Kisa, my wife, Dr. Gloria Williams, and I really will accept this on behalf of my son, Kamari Williams, coach, who is gone on home to be with the Lord. We really, really and truly believe that. So I think that's going to do it for me. And there's one more individual I would like to thank, my second grade teacher, Connie McCarthy, back at the old Hooker School. She's still living right around the corner from me, Denise. She's about almost 100 years old now, close to it. My second grade teacher who demonstrated and told me that I could be somebody. As poor and as Black as I was, that I could be anything that I wanted to be. And back in the 60s and 70s, you didn't get that kind of encouragement from a lot of people. But she always stuck with me, always told me, and I'll give you one little story. I get my tonsils are pulled out. I'm home and I'm in my house. She marched the whole second grade class down from Hooker School to my house, which is like 3 or 4 blocks over. And she came in and they brought me cards and ice cream and stuff. But that's the kind of love people have demonstrated to me all of my life. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank the community for allowing me to serve you. We still have work to do, and remember that in light of this pandemic, we all want to stay safe. We still want to do all the protocols that the scientists and doctors are telling us to do. Let's stay safe. And to this committee, I'm going to tell you one more time, outstanding, outstanding. This is a phenomenal job. I've been on these Zooms since March, basically. And you folks have done everything that you needed to do. Everything that you needed to do. So that being said, I know that I'm getting some further instructions that it's Colby Maryworthy from the Colby Foundation. Colby, the educators, Colby. So thank you. So let's remember that, in 1619, Black people came to America, basically. 244 years later, we had 100 years of apartheid, basically Jim Crow law. It wasn't until 1954, Brown versus the Board of Education, that a Republican president and a Republican governor went to court and overturned that and said it was separate but equal. What I'm saying is that there's a revolution going on in this country. It really, really is. And Black lives do matter. All lives matter, but we know that Black lives really matter. And what I'm saying is that the time has come for all of us to live to the creed. All people are created equal. And all of us should have the right to all that's been promised to us. And the Emancipation Proclamation was something that Lincoln did, 1863. And then Dr. King has his march on Washington. And they say, why did he go to the Lincoln Monument Memorial for the march? Because that's what Lincoln had said in 1863, 40 acres and a mule, and freed the slaves, to those within the Union that could be freed. So that was the promissory note that America made that day. As Dr. King used to say, they gave us a check that came back insufficient funds. So America, it's time that we cash that check. Now, I know you're going to say the 40 acres and a mule, what does it equate to? We'll figure out what it equates to. But we now have to understand it's time for African-American people and Black people to be compensated, because for over 400 years, every so often, we've been promised something. Every so often, we're promised something. We've been promised a lot. Now is the time for America to deliver on its creed that all men are created equal. And we're trying to strive for a perfect union, a more perfect union. And that union can only take place is when all of our citizens are treated equal. And I'm going to close with this. Every aspect of society that Black people are negatively affected by, we're at number one. 7%, we have the wealth of 7% of white folks. 7%. This is real talk. I'm not getting the opportunity. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I just think it's important not to forget the message that we're still in the struggle. We still have to fight. But this, Sterling, I'm not going to bore you any longer, but I'm going to tell this committee one more time. Outstanding, outstanding. You made yourself proud. You made the city proud. You made the Commonwealth proud. This is all over the world what you're doing. It's virtual. And I think, thank you for allowing me to participate with you tonight. I know I went on a little bit, but thank you. And Denise, I'm still going to get you and Gwen.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gwen Miller, and I've had the pleasure of being the chair of the African Hall Steering Committee, also known as the Ubora Ahadi Committee this year. Tonight, I just want to thank you for your participation in this 2020 virtual presentation as we celebrate Bud L. Williams, the 2020 Ubora Award recipient, and Kareem Wedderburn, the 2020 Ahadi winner. You have already heard that they are both well-deserving of tonight's honors. The year 2020 has been filled with a variety of challenges. I'm pleased that the 2020 award ceremony was only delayed and able to be delivered in a different way. It wasn't canceled as so many other events have been this year. The pandemic forced the committee to think and act outside of the box. It was a unique opportunity for us to share skills and talents that assisted us in having a successful program this evening. Thanks again to all of the Ubora Ahadi committee members, the Springfield Museum staff, and everyone else who played a part in making tonight happen. We look forward to seeing you in person at the 2021 event. May this 2020 holiday season bring you good health, happiness, and joy. Thanks again for being with us this evening. Good night.